Welcome to Still Stella.
Living life sarcastically.
Hi, y'all. Welcome to Still Stella, Living Life Sarcastically. Today we're talking about moving and hoarding. Both topics stress me the hell out. Moving has got to be one of the most stressful and exhausting things we go through. I absolutely hate packing, cleaning, moving, and unpacking. I tell you, I'm going to die in this house because I just can't bring myself to do it again. I know, famous last words. I find at this age that one of the things I enjoy most is living a little further away from people in a mostly desert area. I spent 30 years living in a city where you could touch your neighbor's house and yours at the same time. I always missed how I grew up with the next house down the street a bit. It meant you had more privacy and room to move about your yard without having someone on top of you. You could sunbathe outside, drinking your sweet tea without anybody bothering you or staring at you. I hate moving so much, but when I remarried, I relocated to hubby's home. It is located a little bit away from everyone, with more space between houses and room for all our toys and animals. It's really nice not having to deal with parking issues and HOAs. I went through my whole house and donated most items. Yes, I know, I could have had a mega garage sale, but at the time, I just needed to get things packed and done since my house had sold. Besides, I'm not real good at negotiating a great deal. Instead, I'd be standing in my yard saying, "Please just take it, it's yours," just so I wouldn't have to move it back into the house or load it up to donate it. One of the things I miss the most about the South is the trees and greenery where I was raised. To be fair, the desert can be beautiful as well. There's always abundant wildlife in our yard, both front and back. There's quail, bunnies, birds, and desert squirrels all through the yard. We also get the occasional coyote. They are usually just passing through, so we leave them alone, as long as they leave us alone. We live in an area that is considered open range, which means you get to occasionally see cows walking through your yard. I know this last one is hard to believe, but it's factual. The first time I encountered cows on the road in my neighborhood, I panicked. They were hanging out in the road just off the freeway. I called my husband with a frantic question of, "What do I do?" After he stopped laughing, of course, his comment, without missing a beat, was just, "Don't hit 'em." Well, duh. That's a given, isn't it? Since I was raised in the South, I assumed someone had a fence down and the cows had gotten out. Everyone had such a good laugh at me, thinking I was just plain silly. It just shows how different people can be raised. On our property, we also have a tortoise enclosure where we have 2 tortoises. Most people don't think that tortoises are a great pet, but those people have never actually been close enough to them. When we feed them, they come running for food, or walking quickly, in their case. You become hooked because there's something pretty cool about the sound of them crunching on peas when you hand feed them. I have to admit, the disturbing part about tortoises is brumation, which is like hibernation, but for tortoises. They literally sleep from sometime around October until March. The first year I was a little sad. I didn't get to feed them every day and I missed them. More weird is the fact you put them in a cardboard box and put them in the garage or a safe place. They normally just burrow underground in the wild, but these babies are spoiled. We rescued them from someone who had them in a city in a gravel landscape area. So we built them a large enclosure to chill while they pass the time just waiting to be fed. They're in a tortoise mansion of sorts. If you didn't know it, they hear us and come running. Or maybe it's more like a fast walk. They are a tortoise after all. With this move out of the city came downsizing, something that we typically do at this age anyway. Our kids are all grown and moved on, so it's time to go through stuff and get rid of all the extra junk. We definitely don't need all the things we had when we were raising a family. This move meant I went from a 5-bedroom, 2-story house, with one of those rooms being my office, down to a 3-bedroom, 1-story house. I tell you, I went from like 4 or 5 closets to basically 2 for everything in the house. That is hard to navigate, and it means you definitely have to get rid of all unnecessary items. Sometimes it feels like it'd be easier just to burn it all to the ground and start over. Just kidding. Believe me when I say I'm not complaining. I love this place, and it's certainly a lot less to keep clean. I just have to get it better organized someday. This begs the question, to hoard or not to hoard? It's a very valid question. When you've spent over 5 decades on this earth, you have tons of stuff. Young you save different things, sentimental things from all important occasions. By the time you get here, you look at all this stuff going, what was I thinking? I now have more plastic food containers than any normal person should have. Like there are only 2 of us here. How much food could I possibly save from spoiling? And to be fair, I probably only have lids for half those containers, because we all know they disappear all the time. You know what I mean, like you have 23 containers and only 11 lids? I think the missing lids might be rendezvousing with those extra missing socks behind the dryer. Being newly married also came with the combining of households. This is a gigantic task to tackle. Picture 2 very different people collecting items for over 5 decades and then trying to find a place for all of them in one house. It can be next to impossible. And as you know, what may be important to one person is not necessarily important to the other person. For the first few months, you debate about whose stuff is better and worth keeping. You know, remember that signed concert t-shirt you got in the 90s? Badass. You were the envy of all your friends. Well, many years later, you still haven't worn it because you don't want to ruin it, so it just collects dust and takes up space. And quite frankly, it has no real value, so why are we still keeping it? The band is old and retired themselves, or probably should be. And of course, the thought of maybe these collected items will be worth something someday. Well, y'all, it is someday, and they are still worth less than I paid for them, so it's time to part ways and clear them out. How about that box of cables and wires? We all have them. And we hold on to them just in case you need to charge that video camera you bought 20 years ago and haven't used in many years. You haven't gotten rid of it, though, because at some point you still need to get that darn video downloaded off of it to save it. The one thing we both seem to collect and agree on is those damn coffee cups. We probably have 50 coffee cups, and there's only 2 of us. But how do you part with that funny one your brother gave you for Christmas years ago that says, "I'm a fucking ray of sunshine"? You know he definitely meant it with full sarcasm, which is why you love it even more, because there's no way I'm a ray of sunshine in any universe. With this move came a career change, including remote working. This is my jam. This is not something that works for everyone. Some cannot be motivated to work if they are at home. I'm that twisted individual that gets up and gets ready for work like I'm leaving. Full makeup. This is how I get my brain ready to tackle the day. Honestly, if I didn't, I'd be wandering around aimlessly looking for what needed to be done. I have to admit, though, I do quit my day job almost every day. It is high stress, low reward, but it pays the bills. I think most people can relate to that because we're all a little crazy. I was once told only crazy, screwed up people want to do your job. I promptly said, "Thank you. That describes me perfectly." I get way more done not being in an office with everyone bothering me. Screw the small talk and niceties. I just want to get shit done and finish my day. No disrespect. Just let me be antisocial at home. On the property, I have my very own she shed, or as I prefer to call it, my bitch barn. It is a nice 10 by 20 with attic space storage. The attic storage is a great place for Halloween and Christmas bins. I've been working on revamping it to create a better workspace going forward. It's been used as a staging area for many events over the last few years, and now it's time to take it back. I originally got this shed to be my space to do all things creative and complete various artistic tasks. The theory is I can start a project and come back to it later without putting every piece of it away, just to have to pull it all out again later and start again. This alone feeds into my attention deficit and procrastination. I mean, who wants to pull it all out just to put it away again? Makes you feel like a hamster on a hamster wheel, just going around and around. As clumsy as I am, I won't be stuck on it for long. I'll surely fall out as soon as I trip over my own feet. When I first got the shed, I finished the inside to make it like a nice little workspace. This was my first adventure, insulating and hanging wallboard by myself. The funny part was I strolled in there with my hammer and nails, ready to hang some wallboard. Hubby laughed at me and said, "Oh no, there is no way." He introduced me to a brad nailer, which I must say is one of the coolest tools ever. Nothing like getting to play with a nail gun, dancing along and shooting away to set each board in place. It was way too fun. I actually cut the panels and trim pieces and hung them all myself. I was pretty proud. The only bad part is I had someone else do the flooring, and I should have just done it myself because it's not the best, and I'm gonna have to redo it now as well. I learned with this project it's way better to learn and do it myself because any help has not had the desired result. I'm currently converting one side to be the recording studio so my home office can go back to being just that, an office. Moving all the microphones, lights, and control panels will free up space in my office and make it more manageable for my regular job. Over time, I've inherited several pieces of furniture and I've repurposed them to use on this project. One of my favorite finds was an old, outdated chandelier. Nothing fancy, just a simple one with those crystals hanging from it. I cleaned it, painted it up to match the decor, and put in some of those LED bulbs. It is absolutely gorgeous. I think it kind of classes the place up a bit. I mean, shouldn't you have a chandelier in every shed? I think that's called redneck chic, right? I also have an old dresser for storage that I painted and added fancy knobs. And I have the beautiful candelabra my grandma gave me years ago. It is just so cool having it in front and center. She's always been so important to me, so it's really nice having this from her in my creative space to give me extra inspiration. I've been moving things around to clear it out, and I'm just trying not to throw my back out again. The biggest challenge, though, is trying not to trip and fall either. There is so much stuff in there that needs to be packed up and relocated. There are boxes and bins everywhere that need to be rearranged and downsized. I want to get my she shed back to that lovely bitch barn it once was, with all my craft stuff set up ready to go. This way, when I want to work on a project, I don't have to pull it all out and store it again afterwards. There will be craft stations for my cutter and my sewing machine. I can't wait. Now I will have beautiful, organized space to procrastinate in. Once everything is done, I'll share some photos on the Facebook page to share it with all of y'all. Have you set up your own creative space? If you have, share it with us. Tell us what your inspiration is for creating. Thank you for listening, and please take a moment to follow or subscribe so you are notified when the next episode is available. New episodes are available every Thursday. Let's have fun together, and please share the chaos with all your friends and your enemies too.
Thank you for listening to Still Stella, living life sarcastically.